Hello everyone, today I'm back with new stories for you, so let's get started. Our first story is The Shepherd Boy and the Wolf. In a small village, a shepherd was appointed to take care of a herd of sheep. He used to take the sheep to the green pastures around the village and guard the sheep all day. Soon he was bored with the routine, so one day he thought of playing a prank on the villagers for fun. He loudly started screaming, "Wolf, wolf, help, help!" Many villagers came out to help him but found no wolf there. The shepherd repeated the prank for a few days. Each time the villagers would come out and return irritated, seeing no wolf there. One day the shepherd actually saw a wolf approaching the flock of sheep. "Help, help!" he cried. The villagers heard his voice, but no one believed him this time. No one came out to help him, and the wolf killed several sheep. The moral of the story is, do not lie or people will stop believing you. Next story. Two Travelers and a Bear. Two friends were traveling through the forest when they heard a bear rushing towards them. The first traveler immediately climbed a large tree, leaving his friend behind. The second traveler did not know how to climb a tree and was disappointed that his friend did not help him. He threw himself flat on the ground and controlled his breathing. The bear came forward and started sniffing the traveler who lay still. The bear thought the man was dead and went away. The first traveler climbed down the tree and approached his friend and asked him humorously, "What did the bear whisper to you?" The second traveler got up and replied in a grave tone, "He told me to never trust a friend who abandons you in danger." The second traveler bid farewell to his friend and left. The moral of the story is, adversity is the test of true friendship. Now let's go to our next story, The Lion's Share. One day, the lion invited a fox, a jackal, and a wolf to his den. The animals came at once. "I want to go hunting. Will you join me?" said the lion. Everyone agreed and went hunting with the lion. They caught a deer and killed it. The lion was pleased with their hunt. He divided the prey into 4 parts, while the other animals kept looking at it hungrily. Pointing to the 4 pieces of prey, the lion said, "The first part is mine because I was a part of this chase. The second part is also mine because I am the king of the jungle. The third part also goes to me as I am the strongest. And for the fourth part, let me see who dares lay a paw upon it." The fox, the jackal, and the wolf went back starving, as they knew that they could not fight the lion. The moral of the story is, never trust a wicked person to treat you fairly. Next story. Sour Grapes. Once a hungry fox was wandering in the forest in search of food. Weak and tired, he stopped near a shady tree. He looked up and was astonished to see several bunches of juicy grapes hanging from the tree. The fox's mouth watered. He started jumping in an attempt to pluck them. He jumped as high as he could, but it was all in vain. Soon he realized that the grapes were too high for him. He thought, "Perhaps I am tired. I must rest for a while and then try again." After a while he tried again but failed. He rested for a while and tried the third time and failed again. This went on for hours until he was forced to give up. Instead of accepting his failure, he walked away saying, "Whatever, the grapes appeared to be sour anyway." The moral of the story is, you despise what you can't accomplish. Now let's go to our next story. The Musical Donkey. There was once a donkey who befriended a jackal. The donkey used to serve a washerman during the day and wandered in the farms with his friend, the jackal, in search of food. One night, they were standing inside a cucumber farm when the donkey exclaimed, "It's such a beautiful night. I feel like singing." The jackal was alarmed. He said, "Please don't sing. The farmers will wake up and we will be caught. A wild animal like you never appreciate music," the donkey responded. The jackal quickly ran away before the donkey started singing. The farmers came running with their sticks, thrashed the donkey and tied a large stone around his neck. The jackal teased the donkey when they met later and said, "It seems that the villagers have rewarded you suitably for your singing." The moral is, analyze the consequences of your actions before taking a step. Our first story is Very Best Friends. When Grace moved into her new house, she loved her pretty new bedroom and the garden full of trees. But she missed all her friends. Grace's favorite game was dressing up, but it was no fun to play on her own. One day, Grace was fluttering around the garden in her favorite fairy dress and sparkling wings when she heard a girl's voice in the yard next door. She looked over the fence, but all she could see were black clothes and long tangled hair. "Oh dear," Grace said. "I like to wear pretty colors and have neat hair. I don't think we'll ever be friends." A few days later, Grace saw the girl from next door again, but this time she was wearing a pretty dress and purple shoes. Then Grace noticed that the girl was crying. "Hello," Grace said softly. "Why are you crying?" The girl told Grace her name was Emma and then sighed. "I was flying around in my bumblebee costume and the wings caught on a tree and ripped." "Do you like dressing up?" asked Grace. Emma nodded. "It's my favorite game." "It's mine too," said Grace excitedly. "You can borrow my fairy wings if you like." "Thank you," said Emma happily. Grace and Emma spent all afternoon dressing up. Next day, Emma knocked on Grace's door. She was wearing a fairy godmother costume. "Thank you for letting me use your fairy wings," she said. "Thank you for playing with me," said Grace. "I have come to grant you a wish," said Emma. "I wish," said Grace, "that we will always be best friends." Emma waved her magic wand and, smiling, took her new friend's hand in her and gave it a squeeze. "Let's be very best friends ever," said Emma. "This is a real wish come true," sighed Grace, and the two girls did a happy twirly fairy dance together. The next story is I Will Have to Think Again. Frog was sitting on a lily pad reading a cookbook. It was his birthday and he wanted to make a birthday cake. To surprise his friends, he wrote a list of the ingredients and set out to get them. First, Frog went to his friend the miller to get a bag of flour. "How will you get the bag of flour home?" asked the miller. "I will swim up the river with it," replied Frog. but the flour will get wet," warned the miller, "and it will be no use to you at all." "Oh," said Frog, "I will have to think again." Next, Frog went to see his friend Brown Cow for a bucket of her milk. "How will you get the milk home without spilling it into the river?" asked Brown Cow. "Oh, I don't really know," mumbled Frog. "I will have to think again." Frog decided to visit Speckled Hen for some eggs. "Take as many as you want," she told Frog. "But how will you get them home?" "I will tuck the eggs under my chin," said Frog happily. "But you might drop them and they'll break," replied Speckled Hen. "Oh," croaked Frog, and a tear fell from the corner of his eye. "I'll just have to think again." Frog returned to his lily pad empty-handed and miserable. The sun was warm and he was tired, so he drifted off to sleep. "Happy birthday to you." Suddenly, Frog woke up. On the bank of the pond stood all his friends, singing. The miller was holding a birthday cake. "But how?" "We wanted to surprise you," said the miller. Brown Cow provided the milk, Speckled Hen laid some eggs, and I mixed the ingredients with my flour and baked you a cake. "Wow, thank you," grinned the frog. "But I was going to make a cake to surprise you." Well, his friends laughed. "You will have to think again." Now, let's go to our next rhyme. I plant a little seed. I plant a little seed in the cold, old ground. But comes the yellow sun, big and round. Down come the raindrops, soft and slow. Up come the flower, grow, grow, grow. Next rhyme. One man went to mow. One man went to mow a meadow. One man and his dog went to mow a meadow. Two men went to mow a meadow. Two men, one man and his dog went to mow a meadow. Next, go to our next rhyme. A swarm of bees in May. A swarm of bees in May is worth a load of hay. A swarm of bees in June is worth a silver spoon. A swarm of bees in July is not worth a fly. Next rhyme. 4 seats in a row. 4 seats in a row. 4 seats in a row. One for the mouse, one for the crow. One to rot and one to grow. Next rhyme. Grinding corn. Early in the misty morn, the miller's up to grind some corn. Wheels turn, sacks will fill, as he grinds corn in his mill. Please subscribe to my channel for more such interesting stories. The first story is The Foolish Cranes. A herd of cranes once lived on a tree near a lake. In the hollow of their tree lived a black cobra. Every time the cranes laid eggs, the cobra would eat them. One day, a crab saw a crane crying at the edge of the lake and asked, "Why are you crying?" The crane told the crab about the wicked snake. The crab thought of a plan to get rid of the cranes who were his mortal enemies. He suggested, "I have a plan. Scatter some fish near the mongoose's house and create a trail to the snake's hollow. The mongoose will reach the snake's hollow and kill him, as they were sworn enemies." All the cranes agreed and created a fish trail. The mongoose followed the fish trail leading to the cobra and killed him. When the mongoose saw the cranes, he climbed up the tree and killed them all too. The moral of the story is, always evaluate the advice given to you before you act on it. Next story, 4 Friends and the Hunter. 4 friends, a crow, a rat, a turtle and a deer, would gather around a lake and narrate stories to each other every afternoon. One afternoon, the deer did not turn up. The friends realized that the deer was in trouble. The crow flew across the forest to look for the deer. He returned worried and said, "Our friend has been caught in a hunter's net. We need to help her." "Rat, you can chew the net and help her get out." The crow carried the rat in his bill and flew to the spot where the deer was captured. The rat chewed up the net and the deer was freed. They were shocked to see the turtle crawling towards them. Suddenly, the hunter returned. The rat hid in a hole. The crow flew away while the deer ran away. The hunter saw the turtle and caught him. The crow shared his plan for rescuing the turtle with the deer and the mouse. The 3 friends searched the forest and located the hunter. The deer lay motionless on the ground while the crow sat on its body. When the hunter saw the deer and the crow, he amused that the deer was dead. He dropped his net and ran towards the deer. The rat swiftly approached the net and chewed it. The turtle came out and hid inside the lake. The mouse hid in a hole. The crow gave a signal to the deer and flew away. The hunter was surprised when the deer stood up and ran away. The hunter went back to his net but was surprised to see that the turtle had escaped. He was disappointed and went back home. The turtle and the deer thanked their friends. The moral of the story is, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Next story, the lover who fought the ocean. 2 titiba birds lived near the ocean. The female titiba asked her husband for a safe place to build a nest and lay eggs in. He suggested the seashore, but she was skeptical as the waves of the ocean could destroy their nest. "The sea wouldn't have the courage to harm my children," said the husband. Finally, she agreed and laid the eggs in a nest on the shore. The ocean heard everything and felt offended. So the ocean created giant waves and swallowed their eggs. The female titiba cried and complained, "I warned you that the ocean would swallow our eggs." The male titiba was furious and threatened the ocean to return the eggs. The ocean mocked the bird and said, "You are so tiny and weak. How can you defeat me?" The female titiba knew that it was futile to threaten the ocean. She suggested her husband, "Let's seek help from our friends." The male titiba approached his friends for help. One of the birds suggested that he seek justice from Garuda, the king of birds. They all went to Garuda and told him about how the sea had swallowed their eggs. Garuda promised to help the birds. He was furious with the ocean. He went to Vaikuntha to meet Lord Vishnu and complained, "I am the king of the birds and I have to protect my subjects. Please ensure that the ocean returns the eggs of those innocent birds." Lord Vishnu heard the story and agreed to fulfill Garuda's demand. He went to the shore and threatened to turn the ocean dry if he did not return the eggs. The ocean was terrified and returned the eggs to the birds. The birds thanked Garuda and went home happily. The moral of the story is we should never underestimate our opponents. Hello kids, welcome back. So let's start with today's interesting story. The first story is The Wicked Jackal's Dinner. Once a wicked jackal was wandering in the forest when he found a dead elephant. He tried to dig its teeth into the elephant's skin but couldn't pierce it. Then he thought, "I must think of a plan to save this meal all for myself and somehow find an animal that can tear the skin of my prey too." He saw a lion passing by and offered the elephant to him. But the lion refused and said, "I only eat the animals that I killed myself." In some time, a tiger came near the jackal and his prey. The jackal knew the tiger could not refuse to feast on the elephant. He addressed the tiger, "Oh tiger, the lion will be back soon. He would be so angry if he found out that you tasted his meal." The tiger was scared of the lion and so he went away. Soon a leopard approached the jackal. The jackal knew that the leopard had sharp claws. Hence he invited the leopard and said, "Oh leopard, would you like to taste this dead elephant? The lion will be back in some time to feast on this elephant. But I will warn you before he arrives." The leopard thanked the jackal for the generous offer. He dug in his teeth and managed to pierce the skin. The jackal smirked as he knew his work was done. "Oh leopard, you must run. The lion is back," said the jackal. Scared of the lion, the leopard ran away without eating even a bite. Soon another jackal approached the spot. The cunning jackal defeated the second jackal and kept the entire meal to himself. The moral of the story is assess the situation before acting. Now let's go to our next story, The Lion and the Foolish Donkey. An old lion was wounded in a fight with an elephant once. Unable to hunt for himself, he asked his advisor, a jackal, to find some prey for him. The jackal saw a donkey grazing on the green grass near the edge of the forest. The jackal approached him and said, "Oh donkey, why do you look so thin?" "Oh jackal, my master doesn't feed me much, which is why I had to come here to eat," replied the donkey. The jackal convinced him that he must come and live in the jungle where the grass is green. The foolish donkey agreed and followed the jackal into the forest. The lion was excited when he saw him coming. He leapt towards the donkey but failed to catch him. The scared donkey ran away. The jackal scolded the lion and asked him to be patient the next time. The jackal ran after the donkey and stopped him. The jackal spoke cunningly, "Oh donkey, why are you running? The animal that jumped on you was a female donkey who wanted to embrace you." The donkey was not convinced, but the jackal said, "Would you be alive if a lion or tiger had tried to kill you? Now come with me." The foolish donkey believed the jackal and followed him again. The lion sneaked up on the donkey and killed him. The lion told the jackal to guard the carcass while he took a bath in the river. The jackal was hungry as well, so he ate the donkey's brain while the lion was gone. When the lion returned, he saw the donkey's brain was missing. He became furious and demanded an explanation. "Oh master, if the donkey had any brains, why would he come back after being attacked?" explained the jackal. The lion was convinced and they shared the meal. The moral is, use wit to get out of tricky situations. Now let's go to our next story, The Fox and the Goat. A fox once fell into a well. Though the well was not deep, the fox could not get out despite his best efforts. Suddenly a thirsty goat came into the well to drink water. The sly fox said to the goat, "This is the sweetest water I have ever tasted in my life. You can jump into the well and quench your thirst." The foolish goat jumped into the well and drank the water, but soon realized that he was trapped inside the well. The fox spoke again, "If you stand on your hind limbs, I can climb on your back and jump out of the well. I will then help you get out of the well." The naive goat helped the fox get out of the well. The fox mocked the goat before leaving him inside. "You fool! You should have thought of finding a way out before you jumped in the well." The moral of the story is, look before you leap. Welcome back. Today we are going to sing some exciting bedtime songs. For more such interesting videos, please subscribe to my channel. Let's sing along. Oranges and lemons. Oranges and lemons, say the bells of St. Clement's. You owe me 5 farthings, say the bells of St. Martin's. When will you pay me? Say the bells of Old Bailey. When I grow rich, say the bells of Shoreditch. Next story. Boys and girls come out to play. Boys and girls come out to play. The moon does shine as bright as day. Live your supper and live your sleep, and join your playfellows in the street. Come with a whoop and come with a call. Come with a goodwill or not at all. Next story. You are a big sister. You are going to be a big sister, and that's so lucky for you. Babies love their big sisters and the clever things that they do. Big sisters know babies like quiet, so just smile and whisper, "Hello." Big sisters are really good helpers. Let's all get ready and go. All babies are cute, fun and cuddly. But there are things a big sister soon knows. Babies dribble, kick, and might even be sick all over your clothes and your toes. Next story, 10 in the bed. There were 10 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." So they all rolled over and one fell out. There were 9 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." So they all rolled over and one fell out. There were 8 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." So they all rolled over and one fell out. There was 1 in the bed, and the little one said, "Good night." Next story, Little Sheep. Little Sheep couldn't sleep, not a wink, not a peep. Tossing, turning all night through, What was poor little sheep to do? Owl came by, old and wise, said, "Silly sheep, use your eyes. You are lying in a field of sheep. Try counting them to help you sleep. 7, 4, 13, 10. That's not right. I'll start again." Till daylight came, awake he lay, and vowed he would learn to count next day. Next story, Ip Dip. Ip Dip Sky Blue, who's it not you? Not because you're dirty, not because you're clean. My mother says you're the fairy queen. Next story, Little Squirrel. Nibble, nibble, little squirrel, nibble nuts for tea. Scamper, scamper, little squirrel, scamper up a tree. Next story, Tom Tom the Piper's Son. Tom Tom the Piper's son stole a pig and away did run. The pig was eat and Tom was beat, and Tom went crying down the street. Next story, Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow with silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row? Next story, Slowly, Slowly. Slowly, slowly, very slowly, creeps the garden snail. Slowly, slowly, very slowly, up the wooden rail. Quickly, quickly, very quickly, runs the little mouse. Quickly, quickly, very quickly, round about the house. Next story, Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, grew worse on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. That was the end of Solomon Grundy. Hello friends, today I am back with new rhymes and amazing stories for you. So let's get started. Our first story is Pansy Pig. Mrs. Pig had 5 beautiful piglets, but from the moment they were born, they were trouble. There was Percy, who loved to stick his little pink snout into everything. Pickle, who was always getting lost. Poppy and Peepa, who tried to eat the strangest things. And Pansy, she wasn't that naughty, but somehow she got into more trouble than all the other 4 piglets put together. The thing is, Pansy's brothers and sisters all looked so alike. They were pink all over, and Mrs. Pig found it very hard to tell them apart. But Pansy was different. She was pink with a brown pansy-shaped mark on her bottom. So, whenever the piglets were up to no good, Mrs. Pig could always spot Pansy. "No, Pansy, stop being so naughty," Mrs. Pig would yell. Poor Pansy. Her brown patch gave her away every time. "It's not fair," she snorted. "I always get the blame, just because Mommy can tell me apart." Let's go to our next rhyme. This little piggy. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy cried, "Wee, wee, wee," all the way home. Next rhyme. Dickory dare. Dickory dickory dare, the pig flew up in the air. The man in brown soon brought him down. Dickory dickory dare. Our next rhyme is to market, to market. To market, to market, to buy a fat pig. Home again, jiggity jig. To market, to buy a fat hog. Home again, jiggity jog. To market, to buy a plum cake. Home again, market is late. To market, to buy a plum bun. Home again, market is done. Now let's go to our next rhyme. The Queen of Hearts. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole the tarts and took them all away. The King of Hearts called for the tarts and begged the knave full sore. The Knave of Hearts brought back the tarts and vowed he would steal no more. Let's go to our next rhyme. Simple Simon. Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "Let me taste your ware." Said the pieman to Simple Simon, "Show me first your penny." Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "Indeed, I have not any." Next rhyme. Jelly on the plate. Jelly on the plate, jelly on the plate. Wibble wobble, jelly on the plate. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more such entertaining rhymes. See you in the next video. Hello kids, welcome back. So today we are going to read some interesting stories. Let's get started. The first story is The Hare and the Tortoise. A hare in the jungle always made fun of the tortoise and called him the slowest runner in the world. One day, the tortoise was tired of the bullying and said, "I will defeat you in a race." The hare laughed and accepted the challenge. The race began and the tortoise started walking at a slow pace while the hare ran with speed. After a while, the hare stopped and looked back but could not spot the tortoise. Feeling confident, the hare decided to rest and fell asleep. The tortoise kept walking and overtook the hare. The hare woke up and was shocked to see the tortoise approaching the finish line. He ran as fast as he could, but the tortoise crossed the finish line and won the race. The humbled hare never made fun of the tortoise again. The moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. Now let's go to our second story, The Ant and the Dove. One day, an ant fell into the river and was drowning. A dove saw the ant and decided to help him. She dropped a leaf in the water. The ant stepped on the leaf. The dove then carried the leaf back and placed it gently on the ground. The ant crawled to safety. "Thank you so much. I will always remember this," said the ant. After a few days, the ant saw a hunter. When she saw the hunter pointing an arrow at the dove, she was terrified. To save the dove, the ant immediately ran towards the hunter and bit his toe. "Ouch!" screamed out the man, losing concentration as he shot the arrow. The arrow missed the dove and she flew away to safety. The dove thanked the ant later. The moral of the story is, one good deed deserves another. Now let's go to our third story, The Swan and the Owl. A beautiful swan lived near a lake at the edge of the forest. One day, an owl saw the swan swimming gracefully across the lake and praised him. Soon they became friends and spent a lot of time together. One day, the owl said, "I am bored of this place. I must go back to my home near the lotus grove in the forest. Please visit my house anytime you want." A few days later, the swan went to meet the owl. Since it was daytime, the owl did not come out of its hole and asked the swan to wait for night. The swan was disappointed. Tired from his journey, the swan slept near the tree. At dawn, a group of merchants was passing by singing hymns. The owl replied with a loud and harsh hoot and hid in his hole. Considering it a bad omen, an angry merchant shot an arrow at the owl, but it hit the swan instead and killed it instantly. The moral of the story is, choose your friends wisely. Let's go to our next story, The Wise Gander. A flock of geese lived on a tree. One day, an old gander noticed a little vine growing around the roots of the tree. He advised the geese, "If the vine grows big and thick, a hunter might easily climb it and trap us." But others ignored his warning, and the vine grew with time. One day, while the geese were gone, a hunter saw the tree and climbed it. He found several nests and left a net around them. The next morning, all the geese were trapped in it. The old gander said, "Don't panic. Act dead when the hunter comes and wait for the right time to escape." The hunter came and threw the birds down, thinking they were dead. To his surprise, the birds got up and flew away together. The geese found a safer place to live. The moral of the story is, never underestimate a threat. Hello beautiful people. Today I'm back with new stories for you, so let's get started. Our first story is The Demon with Tender Feet. Once upon a time there lived a cruel demon in a thick jungle. One day he saw a priest. He leapt onto the priest's shoulders and said, "Carry me to a nearby river. I want to take a bath." The priest had no choice but to agree. On their way to the river, the priest noticed the demon's feet and said, "Why do you have such soft and tender feet?" The demon replied, "I have taken a vow never to touch the ground with my feet until I have washed them." Soon they reached a river and the demon went inside the river. The priest knew the demon would kill him after taking his bath. He also knew that the demon wouldn't follow him without washing his feet, so he ran away. The demon did not follow him to protect his vow. The moral is, curiosity doesn't always kill the cat. It can also save your life. Our next story, The Price of Indiscretion. Once there lived a wealthy trader who owned a flock of camels. Though he owned several camels, his favorite one was a young camel. This camel wore a bell around his neck and was pampered by the trader. The camels would graze in the nearby jungle every day. They fed on the soft grass and drank water from a nearby lake and would return before sunset. The pampered young camel would often wander alone. The other camels scolded him and asked him to stay close to them. My beautiful friends, so today I'm back with another interesting story. So let's get started. The first story is The Mice That Ate Iron. Once a trader wanted to travel to a different kingdom and needed some funds. So he went to a merchant he knew. He borrowed some money from the merchant, leaving his iron scales behind as security. When the trader came back from his trip, he went to the merchant's house and returned the money he had borrowed and said, "Now you must return the iron scales I had given as security." The greedy merchant refused and said, "There are so many rats in my shop. They must have eaten your iron scales." The trader knew that the merchant was lying, but didn't argue. He shrugged and said, "Never mind. I brought several bags of silk cloth from my trip. Will you send your son to come with me so that he can fetch a few bags for you?" The greedy merchant agreed and asked his son to accompany the trader. The trader took the bag to a cave and said, "I have stored my goods inside the cave. Could you go inside and bring 2 bags?" When the boy went inside the cave, The trader quickly blocked the entrance. He went back to the merchant alone. The worried merchant asked the trader, "Where is my son?" "I am sorry, a flamingo took your boy in its claws and flew away," said the trader. The merchant became furious and asked, "I will complain to the elders of the village." When the village elders asked the trader to tell the truth, the trader replied, "If rats can eat iron, why can't a flamingo carry a boy?" Confused, the elders asked him to explain the matter. After hearing his story, the elders scolded the merchant and asked him to return the scales. The trader set the boy free after getting his scales back. The moral of the story is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Now let's go to our second story, The Wolf and the Crane. A wolf was enjoying a nice meal when a bone got stuck in his throat. He was in horrible pain. He tried to take it out several times, but failed. He asked his friends for help, but no one could get the bone out. Finally, he went to the crane for help. "I will give you anything if you take this bone out of my throat," said the wolf. The crane agreed to help. She asked the wolf to keep his mouth wide open. She put her beak inside the wolf's mouth and pulled out the bone. When she asked for a reward, the wolf grinned and said, "You placed your head inside a wolf's mouth, and yet you are alive. Isn't that a reward?" The moral of the story is, don't expect gratitude from wicked people. Let's go to our third story, The Fox and the Stork. One day, a fox invited his friend, the stork, to dinner. To poke fun at his friend, the fox served soup in a shallow dish. The stork tried to drink the soup, but could merely wet the tip of his beak. Meanwhile, the fox grinned and asked, "Didn't you like the soup?" "I guess I'm not hungry," said the stork and left feeling embarrassed. After a few days, the stork invited the fox to dinner. When the fox arrived, the stork welcomed him and served the dinner in a long-necked jar with a narrow mouth. The stork replied, "I prepared some special meal for you, my friend. Enjoy your dinner." The fox tried to fetch the piece of meat from the jar, but could only lick the tip. After a while, the hungry fox left feeling irritated and embarrassed. Moral of the story is, people will treat you the same way you treat them. See you in the next video.